Welcome. Today, we're going to talk about money. We're going to strip away all the complicated jargon and break down the simple, powerful rules that really run your finances. Think of this as your new, clear roadmap. Let's get right into it.
I mean, does it ever feel like that, like everyone else got the rule book and you're just trying to figure it out as you go? Yeah, you are not alone. But here's the secret. The rules are actually way simpler than you think. And today, we're going to lay them all out one by one.
So, to win any game, you first have to understand the pieces. And in this game, the main piece is, you guessed it, money. So what is this stuff, really? What's it even for?
At its heart, money is just a tool. That's it. It's a technology we humans invented to make our lives easier. It's basically a universal agreement that lets us trade our time and skills for things we need without having to, barter 6 chickens for a new pair of boots.
And this tool, money, it actually has 3 main jobs it's always doing. First, it's a medium of exchange. That's the fancy way of saying you use it to buy a coffee. Second, it's a store value, which just means you can stick it in a bank and it'll be there for you later. And third, it's a unit of account, giving us all a common yardstick to measure how much that coffee is worth.
Okay, so we know what money is. Now let's get personal. Let's talk about where your money journey begins. We're talking about the inflow, how money actually gets to you. In other words, your income.
Generally, your income is going to follow one of 2 paths. There's active income. This is what most of us are familiar with, right? You trade your time and effort for money, your salary, your hourly wage. But then, there's the other path, passive income. And this is the real secret to long-term freedom. It's money that your money earns for you.
All right, so we've got money coming in. Now we have to talk about the other side of that coin. Because how money goes out is just as important as how it comes in. This is the outflow, your expenses.
And this brings us to what is, without a doubt, the golden rule of money. It's so simple, it almost sounds, stupidly simple. Spend less than you earn. That's it. That's the foundation for literally all financial success. The trick isn't knowing the rule, it's actually doing it, day in and day out.
And mastering that golden rule, it all starts with being brutally honest about this one distinction, needs versus wants. Needs are the things you have to survive. A roof over your head, food on the table. Wants are pretty much everything else. Getting clear on this is step number 1 to getting your spending under control. So, how can you turn this into a real system? Well, a fantastic place to start is the 50-30-20 rule. It's a super simple framework. The idea is that 50% of your take-home pay goes to your needs, 30% is for your wants, and a crucial 20% gets aimed directly at savings and paying off debt. It's not rigid, but it's a great guidepost.
Okay, so once you nail that golden rule, once you're spending less than you earn, you'll find yourself at a crossroads. You've got a surplus, you have money left over, and the choices you make right here with what's left will pretty much determine your entire financial future.
So yeah, you did it. You created that gap between what comes in and what goes out. That's huge. But what's next? Well, you basically have 3 big choices for that extra money. You can save it, you can invest it to help it grow, or you can use it in decisions that involve debt.
Now let's clear up 2 words that people use interchangeably but are totally different: saving and investing. Saving is about playing defense. It's about safety. Think of it as stashing cash for an emergency or a short-term goal. Investing, on the other hand, is about playing offense. It's about growth. You're taking on some risk because the goal is to turn your money into more money over time. You need both, but they have very different jobs. So when we say investing, what are we even talking about? Well, it could mean buying stocks, which are just tiny pieces of ownership in a company. Or maybe ETFs, which are kind of like prepackaged baskets of different stocks. You could also buy bonds, which is like you loaning money to a government or a big company. You can even invest in things like real estate. They're all just different tools for putting your money to work. Now, what about that third option, borrowing? Look, not all debt is the same. There's what we call good debt. This is usually money you borrow to buy an asset that will hopefully grow in value, like a mortgage for a house. Then there's bad debt. This is the dangerous stuff, usually high-interest debt on things that lose value, like a big balance on a credit card. With bad debt, the interest is working against you, and it works fast.
Whew, okay, we've gone through the basics. Inflow, outflow, and the big choices you have to make. So now, let's put it all together. Let's distill everything we've talked about into one single master formula.
And here it is. This is the entire game in one simple equation. Your income minus your expenses equals what you get to keep. That's it. This is your financial scoreboard. Your one and only goal is to make that number on the right side of the equal sign as big and positive as you can, over and over again.
So how do you improve your score? How do you win? You pull on the levers we just talked about. You work to boost your income. You find ways to cut back on unnecessary expenses, especially those wants. And then, with that difference, you save consistently, you invest it wisely, and you do everything you can to avoid that bad, high-interest debt that just drags you down.
Look, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, right? The key to all of this isn't trying to change everything overnight. That's a recipe for failure. The real key is to just start. So, I'll leave you with this question. What's the first, small, totally manageable choice you're going to make differently after watching this?